Significant breaking news coming out of the NFL just moments ago. NFL insider Adam Schefter is with us. Adam, what do you have?
Well, it turns out, Matt, that the tests on Nick Bosa's knee showed a torn ACL, a season-ending torn ACL. It's a clean tear, but nonetheless, he's going to require surgery that's going to end his season. When we saw Nick Bosa walk off the field yesterday, he flashed a thumbs down. He sensed that something was wrong at that time. Now, after the game, Kyle Shanahan said that they felt like his ACL was intact. That's what the first test on the field showed. But further testing today, an MRI showed just minutes ago that ACL was in fact torn. It's the second time in his career that he has torn his ACL. It's on the same knee. He did it against the Jets at MetLife Stadium, and now he did it again yesterday against the Arizona Cardinals. A huge loss for a 49ers defense that was off to a strong start. They now will have to make do without their best defensive player.
They didn't get to win yesterday 16-15, kind of a sloppy game, but a defensive game at that. They won't have the efforts of Bosa now. Mino, what's your reaction to him being out now for the season?
Yeah. It's a huge shame in large part because of what Adam said. The defense has just been playing so well with Robert Saleh returning as defensive coordinator. And, of course, this Niners team is right in the thick of things in terms of the division. They've managed to win games without Brock Purdy. It feels like the brutal injury luck for them will never stop. And you saw the impact when Bosa left during the game. Their pressure rate dropped off precipitously. That said, I do think Bryce Huff has been excellent for them. You really see him having a bounce back in Saleh's scheme, which he's better suited to, similarly to with the Jets. And their first-round draft pick, Michael Williams, has been playing well, too. Both of those players are going to have to step it up, though, without Bosa, who commands a lot of double teams and attention. It's a massive loss.
Yeah, huge loss for them, as Adam Schefter reported a minute ago. Nick Bosa out for the season, torn ACL. Adam, good stuff. We'll keep with you on NFL Live coming up at 3 p.m. Eastern for all the breaking news.
Some breaking news out of the NFL. Joined now by our analyst, Rand Carthon, a team that you know well. Rand, what's your thought here at the news that we're learning today about Nick Bosa?
This is a tough loss, Tommy, and it's tough, obviously, because of Nick Bosa, who he is, one of the premier pass rushers in the National Football League. But you're talking about a defensive line that's really young already and needed Bosa from not only his presence on the field, but what he can help those guys, where he can help those guys in the classroom and teach those guys. And so this is going to be a huge loss, like you talked about, yet another star missing in San Francisco. But the positive side is now these young guys are going to be forced to step up and forced to grow and get reps that they naturally probably wouldn't have gotten. And if you can remember, if you go back, they traded for Bryce Huff, right? And so you have another pass rusher in there who's been productive, who has a veteran presence that you can hope would help bring these guys along. But there is no replacing Nick Bosa. But this is why you drafted Michael Williams in the first round, and now he has to stay healthy because he's dealt with some injuries during training camp, and now he's going to have to stay healthy because the way this team is built, it's built with the defensive line in mind, and the defensive line has always been the linchpin for this defense. And so losing Bosa is going to be really, really huge for them.
Niners won a tough, hard-fought game against the Cardinals down in Santa Clara yesterday. They are 3-0. And they continue to be the betting favorite to win the division, in large part to the schedule here. But I do want to ask you, from a team-building perspective and from a front office executive perspective, how do you manage a team with so many injuries here? Yes, you're going to lose Nick Bosa, but the other guys like George Kittle and Brock Purdy on the men's here, how do you manage that from a front office perspective?
This is why you build a team with depth in mind. Right? You're going to have superstars. And the 49ers have done a really nice job of drafting, which is why all of their superstars are guys that they've drafted, the guys that they've developed. And now those players are getting hurt, but you also have drafted the guys that they're understudies. And so now you're going to have to lean on those guys because there aren't any Nick Bosas on the street. You're not going to find those type of rushers. But you have guys in your building who you believe in, who you think can come in and pick up the slack somewhat. And so from a front office standpoint, again, now it's just time for these young guys to have to step up. This is why they're on your team. This is why they made your roster. And no opponent is going to feel sorry for the San Francisco 49ers and them not having Nick Bosa. And it's going to have to be a next man up mentality, which has always been. And they, in every turn of the way, these guys have stepped up. So they just hope that this continues.
One more thing before I let you go. You and I were doing a Monday Night Football preview in which you liked the Detroit Lions to come out of the NFC. What does this do, if any, change your outlook on San Francisco in terms of the division, potential playoffs, and a playoff run?
Well, I'll say this much, because I still think the San Francisco 49ers are a playoff team, and I think they still can make the playoffs, because what's going to happen here in a couple weeks, Jawan Jennings is going to be healthy. You're going to get Kittle back. I think Brock Purdy could play as early as this upcoming week. And then you're going to get a healthy Brandon Ayuk back, along with an emerging Ricky Pearsall. And you're starting to see Christian McCaffrey get his touches. And so this offense is now going to have to take hold and going to have to be the unit that leads this team. Fred Warner, anywhere. Hopefully Fred is able to stay healthy. As long as Fred Warner is out there on the field, he's going to have that defense flying around, playing to the best of their abilities. But again, losing Nick Bosa, the threat of Nick Bosa is going to be an issue for them up front, because now offensive fronts don't have to slide protection to him. Now they're going to have to play a little bit more straight up. And so I think as long as they can maintain this level of play and finding ways to win game, in about the next 3 or 4 weeks, when they're able to get everyone back, I think this team could really take off.
Okay.
Welcome into a fresh hour of HQ. I'm Emily Proud. Tommy Tran joining us in just a bit. But first, remember this. It all happened yesterday. Another wild Sunday in the NFL. First Sunday in NFL history with multiple pick sixes, blocked field goals, and punts returned for a touchdown. What a day for DST fantasy teams. We also had some wild results, like that one up in the top corner. Previously winless Panthers, 30-0 win over the Falcons, just as we all predicted. But I got good news. Week 3 is not over yet. The Lions and Ravens meeting on Monday Night Football. They rank number 1 and number 2 in the NFL in scoring offense and total offense over the last 3 seasons. So get ready to see some points. And Tommy, maybe a potential Super Bowl preview?
Yeah, Emily, I don't think anybody would be objecting to that. We welcome in Lige Dusable and Rand Carthon to talk about this Monday night affair. And guys, if you like offense, this is the game for you. And both teams coming off nice performances, especially on that side of the ball. But Lige, what excites you most about tonight's matchup?
I want to see, can the Lions take that home cooking on the road, right? We saw them in week 1 versus Green Bay get suffocated on offense, and people were wondering, well, because they lost Ben Johnson, can this offense get it together? We know John Morton was there. He left, went to Denver, and came back. Now they play a Ravens team on the road who is going to be out with some of their key defensive players, right? Can they get that run game going like they did versus the Green Bay Packers? To me, that's the biggest storyline. Can the Lions take that home cooking on the road?
And for me, I think the hidden key for this game is, can the Lions keep Jared Goff upright? And we know coming into this game, Nnamdi Madubuike may be out, Cal Van Noy may be out, who are 2 key pieces, especially for this pass rush. But Detroit ranks 9th in the NFL, only allowing 4 sacks. They've only allowed 4 sacks so far. But Baltimore's defense, even with those guys I just mentioned, they rank 24th, only having 3 sacks on the season. And if they can keep Jared Goff upright, the Detroit Lions are 5th in the league in passing right now in terms of passing yards per game. And Baltimore's pass defense is 31st, allowing 298 yards per game. And we know that if Jared Goff can stay upright, he has Amon-Ra St. Brown, he has Jamo Williams, Sam Laporta, and I personally think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have an impact in this game, in the passing game. In the passing game, because I think he is a mismatch for those linebackers at Baltimore.
The interesting thing about that, Rand, it's kind of slanted, right? Because when you look at week 1, the Ravens, especially the second half, gave up a ton of yards to Josh Allen and the Bills. Last week, I thought they did a much better job versus Joe Flacco on the Browns, which, again, their offense has really struggled this year. So to your point, we'll see, can they get that pass rush going? Mike Green will play a lot more. Tavius Robinson will play a lot more. These are young ascending players as well. So to me, when you look at it, right, we've kind of seen a Jekyll and Hyde. Week 1, we didn't see Lions that we're accustomed to seeing, right? Week 2, we saw them versus Chicago Bears defense that aren't no trained killers or anything like that. So this will be a really good week, because I like the secondary that the Ravens have versus those pass catchers versus the Detroit Lions.
Go ahead, Randy.
No, and I would just say this. I'm hoping, I think we're all hoping, that Detroit has found their stride with their new offensive coordinator, and he has now figured out how to call a game with Jared Goff and this plethora of weapons that they have.
Let's pick up on that, because last year, might surprise people to remember, they were 8-0 away from Ford Field last year with the Lions. Now, granted, they only played like 3 games outdoors.